Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. Use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Shawn have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there.
Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We want to share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. Use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Shawn have exciting words.
Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. Use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Shawn have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there.
Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We want to share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. Use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Shawn have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there.
Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We want to share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. Use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Shawn have exciting words.
Hey, Chattitudes, Chattitudes. What's your attitude? That song pumps me up. I don't know about you, Shawn, but I get excited when I hear Chattitudes, Chattitudes. because we know what it's all about. We know that it's all about a platform for you.
Yes.
And so this is a situation where we could talk about topics, any topic of your choice. We get ideas all the time
Absolutely.
from our audience, from our family members, and we just want to talk about them because we realize that we're all dealing with mostly all of the same things.
Yes,
And so we just welcome you today to Chattitudes as we
Yes.
talk about motherhood.
Yes. Big
Doesn't
topic.
come with big topic.
Yes. And we just wanted to cover it because, of course, we were not in the studio on Mother's Day with the whole pandemic and everything. And since we're back, we just wanted to make sure that we cover motherhood, and we just wanted to honor our mothers. So we have decided to make sure we cover this topic.
Yes, yes. And we know
And
that
that-
motherhood is challenging.
Absolutely.
And we know that it does not come with a real instruction manual. So sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong.
Yes.
You know, but all in all, we're mothers. We're mothers and we
Absolutely.
have mothers. And so something we're going to talk about some challenging things today too, because it's not all
Yes,
good.
it's not
You know
all
what I mean?
good.
I mean, I had an absolute lovable mother. Some people have strained relationships with mothers. Some mothers, such as myself, sometimes we do things right, sometimes we don't do things right. And so
Yeah.
we just thought that this topic was very important, particularly for the moment that we're in.
Yes.
Our children are scared.
Yes.
We're in the middle of a pandemic, something we've never seen before. Right now, we're in the middle of a violent wave of just cops and
just injustice, and we're concerned and praying for our sons and fathers and brothers and nephews, just all our black men. So right now, this is even more important that we discuss how mothers, deal with and talk to our sons about what's going on out here dealing with cops. And unfortunately, we have to actually teach our sons how to handle situations when they're faced with bad cops. Not all cops, but bad cops. So,
not all cops. We want to
yeah.
preference that
Right.
because I have some cop friends. Not all cops are
Right.
bad cops, but we do have some out there, and we do have to take a stand.
do have to,
And what
yeah.
do we do? We don't go out in the street and throw fire bombs
Right.
and throw fireworks. That's not how we handle the situation. I think it's up to us as mothers to teach our children that we fight in the spiritual realm first and foremost. We fight through prayer. We fight through having on the armor of God. We fight through going through the polls to make sure that
Absolutely.
we electing the right people, to put the right people in place, to put the right police chiefs in place, so we can just vet our cops and make sure that we're okay. We fight to make sure that people get out to these polls.
Yes.
So we fight on Capitol Hill. We fight legislature. That's how we
Absolutely.
fight. We don't
Right.
fight. We don't fight like regular people just out in the street like hoodlums. We're not. That means that we're no better than them, and we got to be so careful that our anger doesn't cause disobedience to God.
Right.
Because He's watching us, and we're on a stage right now, and He's watching how we handle every single thing. I was
Yes.
reading some statistics, Shawn, and it said that for the U.S., Black Americans are 8 times as likely as white Americans to be homicide victims. You know what this does, particularly to a black mother? It heightens our stress level.
Yes, yes.
Because we're so busy trying to protect our children that it begins to heighten our stress level. So
Amen.
guess what happens after that? We start getting sick. We suffer with high blood pressure. We suffer with diabetes. We suffer with all of these things because now our focus don't become us. Our focus is our sacrificial thing that we're having self-sacrifice because we want to make sure our kids are okay.
Absolutely.
And so when you start looking at these alarming statistics that 1 in 9 black men are behind bars, you know what I mean? What are we doing as parents? We're basically trying to protect our children to not be in this situation.
Right.
So this is crucial. It's crucial for us to talk about. It's crucial for us to talk about motherhood because we got sons, we got daughters, and we got to teach them. We got to help them
Absolutely.
navigate through this time.
Amen.
And so motherhood is just, oh wow, y'all
It's
getting
a lot.
pumped up already.
Right.
It's way too early to get this
Right.
pumped up. It's way too early, so I gotta calm down.
Right.
I gotta calm
So
down.
we're going to take a step back and go ahead and handle some formalities. So as usual, sometimes I know it's okay because that's the time we're in. Everything is it's heightened.
Help me, Shawn.
It's a mother's love and passion. So I get it.
Yeah, I'm passionate about
Right,
this.
that's
I'm passionate
right.
about this.
So
All right.
at some point in the program, we'll have the hotline going, and we'll have people to call in with any questions. So our number to the hotline here is 240-719-2560. Also, we want to thank everyone, our sponsors, our friends and family who
Yes.
sponsor your prayers, your support, financial support.
We
And speaking of
appreciate
which, absolutely, we thank you because we couldn't do this without you.
Yes.
And so, speaking of which, if you're led to bless us and you want to sow into our ministry,
It's a ministry.
It's a ministry. Feel free. You can cash app us at what's the $sign Chattitudes,
Chattitudes,
and
yes.
you can do that through PayPal or Cash App.
Right, and you can sign up to be a sponsor with us. It's $10 a month, and I'm just telling you right now, family and friends that's on the sponsor list, your June payment is due. I'm going to be sending.
No, you
I'm
didn't.
going to be sending out invoices to you. If you don't want to invoice, just go on and send in your June payment. You know who you are. You watch it out there.
Right, because tomorrow is June 1st.
It's
right.
June 1st, and that way I don't have to text you. Just go on and send it in. I love you guys. I love you guys. I
And
appreciate
also,
you so much.
to check us out on social media, Instagram, we're Chattitudes 2020. On Facebook, we're Chattitudes. And you can also go to our website at chattitudes.org.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, we have a special guest with us today, but we'll see her right after our break.
Yes.
And before that, you know what we always do. We do the word of the week.
Yes.
Let's do it. So, the word of the week this week. So this actually is not a word. It's actually a quote this week. It's a
Okay.
quote this week. And it's something that a lot of times, I guess the millennials and everyone, they kind of say, so I haven't really heard this. So the quote actually of the week is, on my mother. On my mother. Have you heard that?
Yeah,
On my mother.
I've heard
No, but
it.
I'm telling but I told my daughter, on my mother is really about swearing and all that stuff.
Exactly,
But she said, no, Mom, this is different. On my mother or on mothers. It's M-O-V-A. M-O-V-A.
Yeah, explain
Our
this.
engineers over there, they younger, so they like, what? You ain't never heard of it? On my mother. So it's not the same as swearing,
Okay.
but it says on your mother. It means that it's definitely not a lie. So if somebody says on my mother, it means it's really, really the truth. I mean, and whenever me and my friend Tanisha we're talking about something, we'll say, that's really, really, emphatically, like, no matter what. If we do two reallys, that means it's really, really the truth. So I guess on this, it's saying, I'm telling you this right now, Tina, I'm just telling you that this is what it is on my mother. On my mother. I'm telling you. On my mother. So if somebody says on my mother, that means that no matter what, it is the absolute truth. On my mother. Y'all better go ahead and somebody said they hate when they say that. So yeah, Missy, she has a millennial, so she knows. They say on my mother. I never even heard of that.
Oh, I have.
But that's a thing. On my mother, on my
Yeah.
mother. So if you say on my mother, that means it's the truth. And they don't even say THER, it's MUVA. On my mother, it's the truth. On my mother. Okay, so on my mother. All right, so that is the word of the week. And so we're excited about today's topic. We're excited just to we're excited just to kind of talk about it. So what
Amen.
we're going to do, we're going to take like a 2-minute break, and right after that, we're going to have our special guest, Tina, who is my sister, who is my friend, who is my cousin, who is all of that wrapped in one. People always try to define our relationship, but honestly, we're sisters. But I'm having her to come up, and we're going to have a whole conversation today about motherhood. She's very nervous to come up because she doesn't know any questions. We always do this free flowing. It's what God leads us to do
Right.
on the day, so we prepare, but we don't prepare. We don't prepare our guests with questions because we want it to be authentic.
Absolutely.
And so Tina is going to come up in a minute, and we're going to just do a commercial. Stay with us for only 2 minutes. I promise. 2 minutes, and then we're going to come right back, and we're going to have Tina. She's going to be sitting right close to me. And so just stick with us for a second. We're going to our commercial.
Back.
Hey, Chuck. Talk to me, Pastor Mitchell. I don't know about you, but I've had all kinds of friends in my life. I think I've been right down that road with you. Yeah, I had some so-called friends. Yes. When trouble people came, they went the other way. Tell me about it. But one thing I'm glad about, that ain't a friend like the lonely Jesus. No. Well, can't nobody come on do me like Jesus. Can't nobody do me like the Lord. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. He's my friend. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. Can't nobody do me like my Lord. Nobody but do me like Jesus. He's my friend. Heal my body. Told me to run on. Well, he healed my body. He told me to run on. Well, Jesus healed my body. Well, he told me to run on. Jesus is my friend. Well, you know he picked me up and he turned me around. Jesus picked me up, Lord, he turned me around. I said, Jesus picked me up and he turned me around. Jesus is my friend. Can't nobody do me like Jesus.
So we want to start out
Can't
with
nobody do me
whole
like Jesus.
Hey,
Hey,
we're
welcome
back.
back.
Hey, welcome back. And guess who we have with us today? We have Miss Tina Wilson. Tina is the IT manager, director over at the Library of Congress. She's a sister, she's a mother, she's a friend. She's an overall good person, just inside and out. I can go on and on about all the obstacles and challenges Tina has had with her own daughter, being a mother. And it's just a lot. Emotionally, it's been a lot. We and Tina talked about motherhood and all of the challenges that we face with our own children. And so we're just here. So Tina, welcome. Welcome. Everyone, welcome.
Chattitudes. I'm on Chattitudes. Hi.
Yes, right. Somebody say you're looking good, Tina.
Oh,
looking
thank
good.
you. Thank you.
Tina, you don't have to smile that hard.
Oh, okay.
Nah, just kidding, Tina. I love you. I love you. Ah, somebody said, Tina, we praying for you. They already know you need prayer, Tina. What's going on? Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Shawn.
Absolutely.
And I call her Dink. You know,
Yeah.
y'all know about Crystal, but she's Dink to me.
Yeah, I like Dink.
Yeah,
I like
Dink.
Dink. That's my name. I don't think my grandmother ever knew my real name. Actually, she came to my graduation and she was looking at the program. She was looking for Dink. Grandmama name is Crystal. That's Crystal. So, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's all good. All right. Brittany says, hey, Mom, and today is Brittany's birthday.
Yes,
Tina's
it
daughter's
is.
birthday.
Yes, it's my daughter's 29th birthday.
Oh,
Happy
wow.
birthday, Brittany. Mama
Yes,
love you.
Yes. And we celebrated my husband's 56th birthday on yesterday. Had a wonderful birthday for him.
Gemini season.
It's Gemini.
season.
Geminis.
Woo,
Geminis.
Geminis.
Gemini.
Gotta love them. Gotta love them.
Gemini. Right now. I need to say. We
Gotta love them.
We got Donna, who's a Gemini. We got a lot of Geminis. I don't know.
Yeah.
So welcome, Tina. Welcome,
Thank
Tina.
you.
And so
Thank
we'll
you.
get, Shawn, did you want to say anything before we get started with the questions? I mean, we
Well,
can probably
I mean-
address that as we go along. We're going to
Right.
talk about
Okay.
the current situation,
Right.
right?
Yes,
So we want to
yes,
talk about
yes,
the current situation.
absolutely.
We sort of
Yeah.
hit on it a little bit
Right.
earlier. And probably my first question, Tina, and we could talk about this as a group too.
Okay.
I talked about, I touched on it earlier, and I talked about the heightened stress for Black parents,
Yes.
right? And so, do you think, and we can answer this all the way across the board,
Okay.
like, so let's talk about the stereotype of the strong Black woman.
Yes.
You know, about a year ago, I think it was, where I think the mom name was Tanya, and she was actually chastising her son, or she hit her son.
Yeah, I remember
on
that
TV.
in Baltimore.
In
Yeah, 'cause they were
Baltimore,
brought in
yeah.
And she
Baltimore.
was, and it really was a protection thing, but
Yes.
she was saying, "Hey, I don't want you out there
That's
protesting
right.
because
That's
it's
it.
too much. It's something going on. But
Right.
then she also received flack from that because
Yes.
as black
Your
mothers,
child.
sometimes when we go into these grocery stores and our kids start acting up,
That's right.
it's a totally different thing.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
then we're kind of stereotyped as the angry black mother.
woman. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
promise you, I can't let you be in the grocery store and you throwing this whole temper tantrum. I don't know, but in this society, it's trying to change now.
Right.
You
Yes,
can't
it
snatch them
is.
up like you
No,
used
you
to snatch
can't.
them up.
Nope.
You
In
know what I
public.
mean?
In public.
In
Yes.
public.
In public.
In public.
That's true.
Yeah.
In public.
so-
Absolutely.
And so, do you think that we're wrongly stereotyped for being strong black women?
Yes, I do. I believe we are. I mean, being a single mother, you're stepping in that role as a father. So you do need to, I guess, come across as being forceful, strong, we put our foot down, we, demand, things. So, I mean, yeah, we do. But, I mean, we're in both roles. I mean, me personally as myself, being a single mother, I had to play both roles, the mother and the father.
So, Tina, quick question. Because I know you're part of the family, but I don't really know too much about you.
Okay.
So just tell everyone, how many children do you have?
I have one daughter.
Okay.
Yes, let's just say
Okay.
she's
So
29.
you
I
have one
just
daughter.
have
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Motherhood was
Right.
rough.
Oh, I get it.
It was tough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I get it.
Yes.
So I was just going to repeat what you said. I'm a single mom too, and I had to raise a black son, and he's now 26. But we're talking about the angry black mom, and I know many times I got looked at as, oh, you being too hard on him.
Yeah.
And what they didn't understand was that I'm raising a black man. I'm
Right.
raising a black boy who's going to
Right.
become a man, and and the father wasn't really there. My
Right.
ex-husband,
Yes.
he wasn't, too involved. And so I was pretty much the disciplinary,
Disciplinary, yes.
right? And he
Yep.
was, we were together, I think, the first 8-9 years of my son's life. But I was looked at as, oh, you're being too rough, or,
Right.
I'm too strict. But I'm like, I'm trying to save my son,
that's
and I got to
right.
raise him to
That's
be
right.
responsible and respectful.
That's right.
Because they're going to eat you up when you get out there.
Absolutely.
And then my fear is, okay, this whole police brutality. You rather that I get on you
Then
and administer some punishment than for the police or the law to
That's
get you.
true.
And so that was
That's
my whole thing,
true.
and trying to make sure that he was, that I prevented
Right.
him. I mean, of course, we can't prevent everything, because when
Correct.
they get a certain age, they're going to do
they're
what
going
they
to
want to
do what they want to do.
But
Yes.
I try my best to prevent some things from happening. So.
Go ahead, Tina.
With me, you don't know this, Shawn, but most people, my daughter was born with a disability.
Okay.
So me being, forceful was, she had to overcome that. I didn't want that to handicap her further. So I had to be a little, forceful with her, and, letting her know that you can do whatever you set your mind to. So,
Absolutely.
that played, a considerable amount of the reason why I kind of came off kind of, rough with her, because she, used to say, Mom, you so forceful with me. You're so, demanding, because I knew she can do it. Everybody else in the family was babying her.
Okay.
And I
Right.
just knew that if I didn't, put my,
raised the standards for
yes,
her.
I had
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
I
yeah.
had to, because right now I'm so proud of her.
Aw.
I'm so
yeah.
proud of her, and, I shared, recently with Crystal, I don't think I really enjoyed motherhood. Yeah, I don't think I really got the enjoyment out of motherhood, because I was raising a child as a single mother, a child that had disability, and I had health challenges
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
So it was like me and my daughter was tag teaming each other. Either she was in the hospital having
wow.
surgery, or I was in the
Yeah,
hospital
that's a
having
lot.
surgery. So it was like, I never really got to enjoy. I sit back and look at pictures she shared with me, and I'm like, I don't remember that.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, it's good that I did, bring enjoyment with her, because I thought it was always me cracking the whip.
So she do remember some of the
She
good times.
remembers
Yeah.
some of the good
Awesome,
times, yeah.
awesome.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But as black mothers, is that, if that's so wrong? Because typically what we hear a lot of, and audience, you can help us out too. that we want our kids to be better than we are.
Yes.
It is
Yes,
such a self-sacrifice
Yes,
to us.
it is.
That
Yes.
we will go beyond, like, we know what your potential is.
Yes.
We know
Yes.
what's coming down the pipe
Yep.
for you.
Yep.
We know what's
Yep.
coming down the line. We've
That's
lived
it.
this. We're
Yep.
in corporate America.
Corporate-
we're in
yeah.
the government. We're
That's
here.
it. Right.
We see
Yeah.
that our black children, that we've had to work twice
Twice
as
as
hard
hard.
as the next
Yes.
person. And I mean, and even in growing up, I had to keep reassuring my child that, you're smart.
Yes.
That don't let anybody
That's
intimidate
it.
you, that
That's
you're not
it.
inferior.
That's right.
Because this becomes very, very important to our children, that we begin
Yes.
to just keep giving them affirmations
Yes.
over and
Absolute-
over again.
absolutely.
So that when they get out there, they're prepared.
Yes.
That we push them
Yes.
to the next level.
Absolutely.
Because we know what the potential is. We
That's it.
know what they
Yes.
can do.
Absolutely.
And so it may seem like we're so strong, but I think we got to be strong. And I think that
Yeah.
this goes all the way back, and I hate to say this, but all the way back to slavery in a way.
Yeah,
That
that's
at this
true.
point, like, we gotta just sort of stand our ground.
Yes,
we gotta
we
push
do.
them forward.
Yes,
we
we
gotta
do.
let them know what their potential is.
Yes.
And so
That's it.
yeah,
I
so
agree. That's it.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think in the long run they grow up and appreciate it.
Yes,
they
they
look
do.
back and
Yes.
they,
Yeah.
because my son has even come back and
Yeah.
said,
Yes. Yep.
I know it
Yep.
was the Lord's help.
Yeah.
And, and I can see the appreciation.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
it's
right,
worth
right.
it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, and what my motive was always, I'm your biggest advocate.
That's it.
So
Right.
I've always said, like, I'm your biggest advocate. I'm
That's
not going
it.
to make any decision that's going to bring you
Absolutely.
harm.
That's right.
Whatever decision I make is to build you
Build
up, is
you
to make
up.
sure that I'm setting you up for success.
That's
Right.
true.
We
Right.
give them the tools.
Yep.
We guide them
Yep.
and
Right.
give them everything they need. And then we just have to trust God
Yeah.
that they just continue to
true.
go the right way.
Right.
But
That
at the end of
is
the day,
so
we know they
true.
have to make their own
That's
choices
true.
and whatever mistakes they made. We just have to trust God that His grace is still with them through
Right.
Through
everything.
Through
Yeah.
everything. Every day. That's
All right.
true.
Let me take some things from the
Okay.
chat line.
Okay.
I see you I see you out there. Shalonda, I see you. Reverend Wooten, Tia, Brittany, it's your birthday, but you're on just supporting your mom. That's
Yeah.
just a
That's
testament of how great of a
Yes.
mom she
Yeah.
is.
Thank
And Stephanie,
Yeah.
who is Shawn's sister, we see you. Janelle, we see you. Arlene, Sanidria, Lisa,
Yeah.
Missy. Reverend Jordan, how are you? How are you? We love you. We see Trina Page. I see you out there, Trina. And I want to do a plug for Nicole. I mean, her daughter Quincy
Oh,
has a
yeah,
line
yeah.
called Nicole, and I'm taking it up upon myself that next week I want to advertise her because she's doing
Okay.
some great things.
Oh, okay.
And I want to support young people.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it's
that's
not about
right.
money,
Gotta
it's
support.
about supporting the young
That's
people.
it.
And so we're
Absolutely.
going to have that on there.
Okay.
Denise, thank you so much for tuning in. Arlene says, every woman that have to operate in a role of a nurturer and disciplinarian is not angry.
That's
We
true.
understand that
Thank
we
you,
have to
Arlene.
make sure we
Absolutely.
raise
Right.
people
Right.
that
That's
would be
true.
upstanding citizens in the
Absolutely.
world. Denise said
Absolutely.
we must be strong.
Yes.
And Maria Wooten said, I understand. I was a young mom, 5 children by 19 years. I still
Wow.
regret some of those things. I didn't know how to instill it in my children. But that's okay. I mean, because
okay.
that's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Deacon
Yeah.
Moore, hey, Deacon Moore, that's Deacon Moore. How you doing, Deacon Moore? Denise, it's okay when we show them that we're not okay.
Right.
That's very,
Yes.
very
Yes.
crucial. That's
Yes.
crucial.
Yeah.
Denise, I'm glad you brought that up because I think I think this. So I think that a lot of times when we look at our parents, particularly, and I'll speak for myself and my mom, when I looked at my mom and growing up, she was the role model for me.
Yeah.
So, and I think that it's very important that that you're the role model for your
model.
child. Like
Yes.
I never had to go outside. I never had these heroes and this person is my hero. My mother is and always have been my hero.
Yeah.
So I think that as a child growing up, I think I could come to her about everything. I think she knows everything. But then about 20 something, you go, my mother view wasn't really right on that. You know what I mean? Like, my mother was kind of tripping. You know what I mean? And then you find out somewhere along the line that your parents are kind of flawed, right? And then you start thinking, I'm kind of flawed too.
Right.
And then you start mixing those things together, and they say,
Yeah.
apple don't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that, you start looking at your parents and think they know everything, then you realize they really don't
They
have
don't
all
know
the
the
answers.
answers. That's
But
true.
what they do most of the times is they do the best,
best
they
they
can,
can.
with what they
What they
have.
have.
And so
Yep.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm appreciative
true.
of. And so
Yes.
even down to you, Reverend Wooten, that you may not have instilled that, but the fact of the matter is you did the best of what
that's
you
it.
had
And
to
then-
work with.
yep.
And that's okay.
That's
and I'm going to
okay.
talk about it probably maybe closer to the end of the show because I want to really talk about the psychological impact of parent influencing and how
Yes.
you'll find out really that you think is a really great influencer to shape your child's personality, but in reality, it's really not. It's genetics, and it has a lot to do with the environment. But we'll talk about that later. But I want every mother to know who's watching, who's listening, who's on the chat, that we do the best of what we had. And even if that wasn't really good enough, you know, that may have been the only tools that we had. You know what I mean? Because we didn't learn it from our parents, and it's generational, and it gets recycled over and over again. But the fact that you're still here, and the fact that you still got a chance, and the fact that even if your mother wasn't a great mother to you, that you still honor your mother, you still wish the best for her. You know what I mean? And so it becomes very difficult sometimes, particularly in strained mother relationships. I get it in my mother relationship. We're good. You know what I mean? Me and my daughter, we're good. But I'm just saying, in strained relationships, and if either one, if you could talk about that if you want to, if not, that's fine. We'll go to the lines. It's okay. How do you do that when you're in a strained relationship?
You know, right now, I wish I was the person that I am today. Back when, you know, I had Brittany, and, you know, to build my relationship stronger with my own mother, you know, because, you know, each child just want to be loved, you know, and as I'm getting older, you know, I love my mother dearly. It's nothing that I wouldn't do for my mother, you know, but I just wish that we would have had that, you know, stronger bond, you know, as I was, you know, growing up, you know, in my 20s and 30s, where I needed that mother. You know, here I am with you know, being a single mother with a child with a disability. It's like, okay, you know, where did I went wrong? You know, why do I have this child that has this disability? What did I do wrong? You know, I felt like I was struggling and searching for just love from a mother.
Absolutely, I get it.
From a mother.
Yeah,
it's nothing like a mother love. And even though we as mothers don't come with a manual, sometimes I wish it did. But I just knew what I needed growing up, and I made sure I gave that to my child.
And a lot of times we do that.
I made sure I gave it to her. You know, never wanted her to ever doubt that I won't be there for her. Through thick and, you know, thin. You know, always there no matter what. You're going to make mistakes, but I got you.
That's it.
You know, I got you, and that's what I needed. You know, and that's what I needed.
I hear you, because that sounds very similar to my situation. I thank God for my mother. I don't know if she's watching, but, you know, that relationship was never that close or whatever. But at the end of the day, she's always been there, and I've always loved her unconditionally. So we, even though we didn't have that tight relationship or, you know, that whole affectionate motherly love and advice and wisdom, I did not get that. And I think for years, I think I had resentment because of that. And I always will actually wonder and imagine what would it be like to have a mom that could give me good advice, or just you know, be a friend, or just encouraging anything. And so everything happens for a reason. At the end of the day, God did bless me and healed my heart. You know, where I was broken. And so I'm grateful to God for that. Because it had taken years. It took me over 30 years to actually let some things go. So I'm grateful. I mean, because that right there, when he dealt with me, it freed me. So I'm grateful to God for that. So even with that, I no longer had that whole heaviness on you. And so I just began to walk in freedom. So, you know, there may be some out there with some fractured relationships. But the only way to get through that, and even some people may not even reconcile, or whatever the case may be, or maybe the moms, you know, have gone on to glory. But I truly believe that those things, or healing, only comes from prayer and asking the Holy Spirit to heal your heart, because and believe it's nothing like it. You can't do it in the flesh. You can't do it through emotions. That only comes through the Holy Spirit. And then I'm thinking about, and I know, you know, with that part, but I have a question.
Sure.
And we all three can, you know, evolve and, you know, expound on it. So how do you set boundaries with grandparents when it comes to intervening when raising your child? And I know most about, you know, our kids. I have a teenager, but, you know, most of our kids are grown. But how do you, and there may be some who are still raising little ones, So how do you handle that? Like, how do you set boundaries with the grandmother when it comes to raising your child?
I'll let Tina go because she's out gas.
Right.
Tina, you answer that first.
How do you set boundaries? That's hard. Yeah, that's hard. Grandparents are supposed to love their grandchildren, and the parents are supposed to raise them. But sometimes, our mothers or, mother figures is going to intervene and give their opinions of how we should handle certain situations. And that's a tough question, Shawn. I don't think you really can control that. I mean,
You can't,
what
but
can
I mean,
you do?
still gotta set boundaries.
Right, but
I've gone through that. I've gone through that since my son was born. I mean,
What can you do?
I've done.
And I'm so different from you guys. I mean, in the whole boundary setting, my mother is all up in there.
Yeah.
She all up in there. But you know what? I kind of welcome that.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's really
A
a lot of boundaries.
No, it's
because
not.
I feel like when we begin to raise children, it's a village.
Yes, it is.
And so
Yes, it is.
everybody just sort of
Yep.
has a hand in that. And
Yep.
if it wasn't for my mother helping me to raise my child, I don't know where I would be.
Yeah.
I don't know where
That's
my child
true.
would be.
That's
which
true.
is why we had a virtual graduation. And
Yeah.
on purpose, I put my mother front and center.
Yes.
Because she became front and center because she was
Yes.
so centered and so central to my child's graduation that
That's
she
true.
had to be a part of it.
That's true.
And so
That's
I
true.
think that, I don't know about the boundaries per se,
Yeah,
but
I don't
do
think
know
so.
that without my mother just being in that village of circle
Yeah.
of people to help me.
Yes.
I will go to this real quick because Mary Wooten said something important, that she lost her mom 1 month before her 8th birthday. Had people who didn't read me right, but God and His grace brought me through, and now, hallelujah. And sometimes that happens.
Yes,
we
it does.
I know many of my friends who lost their mothers
Yeah,
very early
very
on in
early
life,
on.
right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
God just placed people in your
In
life
life.
sometimes.
That's true.
That
That's
will
true.
help
That's
to fill
true.
that void.
Yes,
I don't think
indeed.
that void can ever be filled with another person. You know what I
Yes,
mean? You can
correct.
have a great mother, a great son,
Yes.
adopted mother or whatever. So that real void never can be filled. But I can tell you what can fill it is Christ.
That's it.
At the end of the day, that's
Yes.
whenever you're pursuing any type of happiness, any type of anything,
That's true.
and whenever you have a void in anything in life, it doesn't matter what
That's
it
it.
is.
That's
The
it.
only thing that can really fill that void is Christ.
Jesus.
And
That's
so,
true.
but
Jesus
Christ
Christ.
will
That's
put
it.
different people among your path.
Yes, He
and
will.
even sometimes when they treat you wrong, you'll be all the better for it because
That's
when
it.
He rises you out of that situation,
Yes.
now you've become even greater.
Yes.
And so God, and I just believe that our steps are ordered,
Yes.
that everything is ordained, and
That's
so
true.
He put you in that situation so that He could elevate you. So
you.
even those
Yes.
people who tried to treat you wrong,
Yes.
you know what I mean? I think you still get God
That's
still
right.
get the glory out of
Amen.
this
Yes,
thing
He
because
do.
even though all of that happened. Praise God to Reverend
Yes.
Wooten.
That's
You know
right.
that now she's glorifying God and praising
That's
God, and I'm
right.
pretty
That's
sure
it.
that the devil
That's
don't
it.
like that, and all the people who treated her wrong don't like that either.
That's
So,
right.
Hey,
That's
how
right.
about that?
Haters.
How about that, haters?
That's
Haters.
right.
You know,
That's right.
you know, I love a hater because you know how you know
Yeah.
what haters do to me, elevate me. I'm not even worried about it.
Right.
And she said, hold on. So somebody talked about grandmothers. So she
Uh-huh.
talked about that, Shawn. Jackie says, as long as I'm not hurting my grandchild, there are no boundaries
That's
I'm
it.
following.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you right now, Jackie is, she loves, sometimes, and I don't know, and I'll ask people on this line, but sometimes they say, you almost love your grandchild more than you love your child.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've heard people say that. I've
Yeah,
heard
it's a
people say
different
it.
love.
It's a different
It's a
kind of
different
love.
kind of
It's a
love.
different kind
Yeah.
of
It's a
love.
different- yeah.
So she said there are no boundaries when it
Yeah.
comes to her grand. And then
Yeah.
Tia says, unfortunately, we do question ourselves and ask what we did wrong, and our children make not so favorable decisions. But we have to remember that we have raised them to the best of our ability.
That's it.
You're
That's
so
true.
right, Tia. That's exactly
true.
what we talked
That's
about.
all you can do is
The
do what
best
you
you can.
Right.
What
And
you have.
Arlene
That's
says
right.
her mom
Yeah.
grew up with mom in the house. I didn't set boundaries or think about boundaries. I welcomed all the help. That's what I said too.
Yeah.
Haters
Yeah.
are my elevators. That's right, Cindy. Well, we share the same thoughts a lot of times. I lost my mom when I was 8 also. Look at it, Tanika.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
hard
Yeah.
growing up without my mom, but God. He put
Yeah.
people in my life
That's
to
it.
help guide me along the way. My strength truly has come from God. That's exactly
true.
what I was
That
saying,
is
Tanika.
true,
You summed it
Tanika.
up. That's
That's it.
exactly right.
Strength. That's
Your
right.
strength
Right.
comes
Yes,
from
indeed.
God. And I
Yeah.
think, and I just want to touch back
Yeah.
real quick on the healing piece and how to heal
Yeah.
because I know we said love, we said God, but there's something very important that we missing across the board, and that is forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
And somebody said it on the chat line, and I want to just say it.
Yes,
Yeah.
forgiveness.
It is forgiveness. So
Absolutely.
anybody who has a strained
Oh, yes.
relationship
Yes.
or they want to get
Yep.
back,
That is key. Yeah.
and what's key, guys?
Yeah.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
It's
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
forgiveness.
Absolutely.
It's
Yes,
hard.
you gotta
Forgiveness
forgive.
is
Actually,
hard.
It
It
is.
is.
And that's why I
It's,
said the Holy
yeah.
Spirit, because it was only through the Holy Spirit that allowed me
Yes.
soften my heart to
Yes.
forgive. And not just my mother, but my father too.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you can't do it just by
You know,
wishing it and
Correct.
Trying to feel it.
That's
No,
right.
that thing comes through the power of the Holy
Right.
Spirit.
And it's
So-
only when I had a conversation with my mother, and we have conversations, and I express, how I felt and how I feel, and she tells me, and she was like, her growing up, she wasn't shown love.
and that's usually
And
what it is.
so
Yeah.
there you go. And I didn't know that. And when she told me that, I kind of paused and like, wow, now, everything is coming into focus and, understanding. It's like if you're not shown love, how can you show love to somebody else?
That's true. And so I've heard that, and the same thing with my situation. And like we were saying earlier, like whatever you didn't receive, you give it to your child.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I did. Whatever
Right.
I did not receive from my parents, from my mother,
Right.
I did the total opposite with my
Correct.
kids. I
Yes.
loved on them. I was affectionate, still
Yes.
am, except for this pandemic. But anyway, because my son be trying to hug me, I feel so bad. I'm like, ew, let's do. But anyway.
That's Shawn's thing. That's Shawn's thing. Whatever. My child, I'm gonna keep on hugging on my
There you
child.
go.
That's Shawn's thing. That's Shawn's thing.
Yeah,
That's
I
Shawn's
be
thing.
in and out of people's houses. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I love you.
All right.
All right.
But anyway, I see you out there. I love you, Miss Haley. Miss Haley. Miss Haley. We love you, Miss Haley. We love you. We love you.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, what happens? So, Tia sort of touched on something just quickly. What happens, though? What happens when a child blames you when their life is going bad? Because, and I'm asking this question because as mothers, a lot of times we begin to internalize this thing.
Yeah.
We begin to internalize, like, when our child's life is going
Yes.
bad. As
Yes.
mothers, we tend to take the blame.
Yeah.
But are
Yeah.
we to blame? Are we to
You know what?
blame?
And this is my. Go ahead,
It's
Tina.
a,
Go ahead.
it's a certain situation.
It
So
depends,
it all
yeah.
depends on the situation. So if okay, let's just for instance, if your mother was on drugs or something, and chose to not seek help, and then your child turn around and be rebellious against that because they didn't have that, I kind of feel as though yes.
I get it.
The
Yeah,
parent,
in that
I mean, in
instance,
that
right.
situation.
Yeah.
But if you was there and you was raising your child and, providing for them, and they chose to go left, right, or the wrong way, no, it's not.
Listen,
because
I have not one guilty bone in my
That's
body.
right.
Because
Yes.
I promise you, in raising my son, there were moments I wanted to give up, to be honest.
Yeah,
I wanted to just be like, okay, go with your grandparents. But I was like, no, God, this was my child. God entrusted this boy to me, and I'm going to raise him.
It's been,
and listen, you can turn 18, graduate, and you can do what you want to do. But
Right.
I needed a clear conscience. No,
That's
I'm going
right.
to continue to love you. I'm going to continue to provide. So
Right.
I had no guilt whatsoever. You
Right.
did what you did.
Right.
I'm going to
Yeah.
love you. I'm going to be there. I'm going to
Right.
be supportive.
Yeah.
Because we just there.
Right.
That's
right.
just what we do.
Yeah,
We love
and
unconditional.
and I still believe that there is always a bad seed that can go, a person just choose to just constantly be bad. They don't want to do right. They
Right.
don't
That's
want,
that
and they
spirit.
have
You gotta
all
pray.
time. Yeah, you got to pray. You
Right,
got to
right.
pray. But they also got to pray.
Absolutely.
We can pray for people, but you got to
At some
pray
point
for
you do
yourself
have to-
too.
yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
pray for yourself too.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
Yeah.
so I'll go back to the chat line. Cynthia Moore, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. Amen. Forgiveness is the key.
Yeah.
Stephanie says, we have to know that forgiveness is freeing. We talked about this.
Yeah.
It's freeing.
Yes,
free.
it is.
It's
Yeah.
for
Free.
it's
Yeah.
for it's for us and not
Yes.
for them.
Yeah. Amen.
We
Yeah.
all know that forgiveness, and I wanted to say this. We got a mature audience, so they know
Yeah.
this. That
Right.
forgiveness has nothing to do with the other
That's
person.
it.
It has
Right.
everything to do
Everything
with
to
you.
do with
It's
us. Yes.
freeing of
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
So
Yep.
you're not
That's it.
not helping the other person
That's
out.
true.
Because
You help
trust me,
them
the other
yourself.
person that went on about their
That's
business.
it.
They
That's
skipping to Malou somewhere.
That's
They
true.
not
That
thinking
is
about
true.
you.
They be like, oh,
You know,
well.
they're not thinking about you. But forgiveness has everything to
Yes,
do
it
with
does.
you.
Yes, it
You know what I mean?
does.
So you
Yeah.
have to forgive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tia made a funny shot. She said you funny during this pandemic. I say the same thing, Tia. Shawn sort of funny during the pandemic. Cynthia Moore said that generational piece is important. People love the only way they know how. That's true. We talked about that. Yes, Tina, they are responsible for their own choices.
Yes.
And I think that that's key. I think that so oftentimes our children blame us for all that's going wrong in their life. And I just think that's wrong because at some point in your life, you now have to make a choice.
Yes, you do.
It's your choice.
Yes, indeed.
It's not what I've done.
That's
it's
right.
your choice. So even if the situation was good, even if the situation was bad, you still got a choice. Look, we got a choice to make. We can make a choice. And people said, I think somebody told me one time, well, somebody got a gun to your head, you don't have a choice. Yes, you do. Even in that moment, you still got a choice. You can get shot, you can run, you can you can do anything.
Right.
So it's
you
still a
obey.
choice.
Right. Yes.
So you got a choice.
Yes,
so it's a choice.
Yeah.
You know, so Pam, I'm just saying, stop blaming the parents. And I think that so many times we get into this whole woe is me situation.
Woe is me.
Oh, my parent did this. Oh, my parent did that. Then what are you doing?
Right. Absolutely.
What are you doing?
Yep. And I was guilty of that. Guilty of that. And I didn't start to heal until I forgave myself first, you know, for thinking that for so many years. And, you know, and then I was able to forgive myself and to forgive my mother and forgive what I thought my mother didn't do or provide for me.
And you were how old when this happened?
So I went to go live with my grandparents when I was 9. And just used to cry all the time for my mother. You know, my mother. I mean, my grandparents love me dearly, but it's nothing like a mother.
Right.
You know, I'm growing up, you know, I'm going into, you know, the preteen, developing, and, you know, I learned everything about just what a woman goes through different people. And I needed my mother. You know, I just needed my mother.
So
you
how
know?
old were you when you were able to forgive yourself and forgive her?
Believe it or not, it's only when I, you know, became a mother. Just as my, you know, health issues and just accepting Jesus Christ in my life.
That's good.
It's when I started forgiving myself. You know, it's a whole lot of, you know, history, you know, that a lot of people don't know. My family really don't know my struggles. Crystal does, because she's been counseling me. She's been helping me. And, you know, and I, you know, a lot of demons that I was carrying that I had to let go and release. And it's only when Jesus Christ came into my life is when I started just peeling things off that I'm able to share my story and talk about it. You know, one of my friends, you know, she had to check me. And I'm glad, and I love you, Lisa, if you're watching. She had to check me because around the holiday time is when I really struggle. And I go into this isolation, depression, that I pull myself away from people. That I, you know, just dealing with this depression, you know, and she said it really hurt her that I just pulled away. And one time she thought she did something. And I was like, no, you didn't do anything. And because I go into this depression, I don't want to hurt people. So I isolate myself, and I know that's not healthy. You know, and I do have, you know, friends and family that pulls me out because they know. You know, if they don't hear from me, they like, okay, what's going on, Tina? What's going on with you?
I'm knocking on her door. I'm ringing the doorbell. And I know she see me because I saw her curtain move one time. But she didn't open the door for me one time. I came over there. I'm just there to tell you. I know she saw me. I know she saw me.
It's the healing. It's the healing.
So
I know consciously now that when I start feeling that way, I'm going to do the opposite. You know, I'm going to work on doing the opposite.
And then
because
maybe reach out to somebody
yes, because Lord knows I don't want to hurt my family and friends. You know, I love everybody. And, you know, I have a good heart, and I don't mean any harm if I did it to anybody else. I love everybody, you know, because everybody been there for me. You know, they've been cheering me on the side. You know, they know my story.
So it's interesting to note this. I was reading, because I'm always reading these statistics, right? So I was reading. I mean, and Freud is one of the biggest psychologists, right? So I study Freud, and Freud, I think, I mean, and now that we're in the 21st century, we know that Freud got a lot of these things wrong, because he said that most of this stuff is determined by your parents, and if your parents was this way, then you're gonna be this way, and all of this stuff. So we know now that that's kind of wrong.
Yeah.
But I think we've gotten into this cliche that I didn't get enough hugs as a child, that my daddy wasn't there as a child, and so we began to start fault blaming all of these people for where our life is today. We start saying that this is happening and this is happening. But I will tell you that, and it's a great thing really for self-help books, for for all of these classes that people are going to, because like, hey, this is a money-making thing, right? But can I just tell you this, that what scientists have said and everyone has said, that 45% of your makeup comes from genetics. So it doesn't matter what your parents do, what the influences are, whatever. It is basically your genetics from both sides. 50% from your mother, 50% from your father. And so some of the things you're just going to do just based on genetics, right?
Okay.
And the other 55% has everything to do with the environment, where you live, how you live, this, that, and the other. And but as a part of the environment is your parents, but they're a very small part of it.
Yeah.
So all of this kind of makes up who you are, your genetics, your environment. And it was basically said that a good parent in a bad environment is a really bad thing, but bad parents in a good environment is almost better, because it's the environment that has the greatest influence over your life. So it's very interesting when you think about it that way. But so many people, and I think this over the years, and I think we've made it okay now to say, okay, it's my mother's fault, it's my daddy's fault, my daddy wasn't there, my biological father wasn't there. Oh well, I still love him. Okay, it's okay, you good, we good, it's all good, it's all good. I don't, you know what I mean? But I can't keep on saying, oh, because my daddy wasn't there.
That's
I'm
right.
this way,
That's
or
true.
this person wasn't there. I'm that way. Like, that kind of burns me up. And then so when I started reading this study, I was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And they actually did this study with some twins. They had a set of twins that grew up in different environments. They grew up in different environments. But guess what happened? They were still kind of the same. 45% came from their genetics, 55% came from their environment. So their personality didn't change, right? That you're going to be who you're going to kind of be. I mean, we can teach them the basics. We can teach them to say, no, thank you, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
we can teach them how to get, but guess what? Their sexuality,
Right.
we're teaching
That's
that.
right.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
A
That's
lot of
true.
things that they go through, the major influences in life, we're not really teaching that.
That's
But guess
true.
what? Because it's a part of their makeup sometimes, and because of the environment that they're in, we are like, I mean, believe it or not, we don't have a lot to do with that. But because
that's
we're so
true.
conditioned to kind of believe that, then everybody starts playing that little woe is me thing. I'm telling you right now, don't go blaming me, Diamond. Don't go blaming me.
Don't blame me, Brittany.
Don't blame me.
That's right.
Don't
Don't blame me.
Right. Somebody, the Lord said 55 and blaming your father. No. That's what I'm talking about, Dolores. That's exactly what I'm talking about. How you 55, you 60 years old talking about, because my daddy did this.
You're right.
Now,
right.
I will, let me say this, and I don't take this lightly. Let me say this. Now, childhood trauma is childhood trauma.
Right.
Yeah.
So if something
Yeah.
happens traumatic to
Yes.
you
Yes.
by a parent, by
Yeah.
somebody else or whatever,
Right.
that's different. You know what I mean? That sort of makes up who you are, and then you get counseling and you get healing from that.
Yes.
But can I say this, that the childhood trauma could be from your parent,
Yeah.
from another person.
Yeah.
It could be from your kid, your teacher, or
Yes.
bullying.
Yeah.
It can come
Yeah.
from all different
That's
factors. So
true.
not just your parents.
Right.
So, but then that has to be dealt with separately.
Yeah.
That's childhood
That's true.
trauma. That's
That's true.
different.
That's separate.
So you ever think about if you raise, Shawn, you got 2 kids. You raised 2 kids in the same house with the same factors, and they both end up being different. How is
Because
that
they have
possible?
different they have different daddies.
You give her
I
say
got
baby
two,
daddy.
I got two baby daddies.
That's Shawn's case. Let me tell you something.
So they are different. They're night and day.
Let me tell you something. Right. Well, in that case, then genetically, yes. that
So
would
the
make it
genetics
different.
are just
The genetics are different. But I'm just saying, we have a lot of cases where we have the same mother and the father, and then we're still different in so
That's
many
true.
ways.
That's true.
And so,
yeah.
and that just
That's
goes
true.
to I'm only making this point to say, stop blaming.
Stop
and
blaming.
then parents,
Right.
mothers, can I just tell us, stop feeling guilty
Right.
when you've done all that you can do,
Yes.
even if it wasn't good enough. You've done the best that God has allowed you to
Absolutely.
do.
And this, which brings me to the point, because this is big too, how some mothers, and even father, but we're talking about motherhood today, how some mothers actually, even with these, what they call the baby boy syndrome,
Uh-huh.
how they enable their sons because they won't allow them to grow up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so when they make mistakes, they right there to correct. They're right there to bail them
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
has to stop.
That's a whole topic. That
Right,
could be
that's
a
that's
whole different topic.
But that's part of
gonna talk
that's
about
how my
fathers.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why
true.
fathers
That
are
is
fathers.
true.
No,
That's
no.
true.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes they don't allow, that's my baby, and
Yeah.
then he doesn't
Yeah.
grow up.
Yeah.
And so he's
Yeah.
never, and then he cannot be a productive citizen. He cannot be a healthy, be in a
Because
healthy relationship because
Him
he's
be a
never really
man.
learned
He's not a man.
responsibility.
That's it.
My ex-husband. But I'm just saying. So, and that was key because I saw my ex-husband, because I saw that dynamic in that family do that to my husband. I did not want that for my son, so I did the
Yeah.
opposite. Like, I'm not
Right.
gonna baby you. I'm gonna love you and
Right.
suck you in every night and
right.
get your knees
Be a
met.
man.
But no, you still got to do. No, it's no running and chasing, trying to solve everything, especially now as an adult. No, some things they learn. Experience is the best teacher.
Right.
You're gonna have to go through some things. They may slip up, they may fall.
Right.
Be there, encourage them to get back up.
That's true.
But you can't
Absolute.
bail them out of everything.
Everything.
They're not going to learn.
So
That's,
here's a question: overprotecting. Do you think overprotecting is just as bad as neglecting?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overprotecting or
Yeah.
neglecting? So they're both
They're
kind.
both, yeah, they're
Yeah.
both
Gotta be in the middle. It's some,
toxic.
Yeah.
They're both
Yeah,
toxic.
I mean, when you start making adult decisions, you know, I'm saying when you start bringing children in, that, you know, overprotecting that whoever that parent is, and you know, another mother, or protecting their sons and saying, you know, oh, I'm gonna protect my son. You know, they're not gonna pay child support, take care of that child. You know, you had the baby, it's yours. You're supposed to raise it. To me, that's when you should step back, mother. Because he made an adult decision. Okay, now it's time for him to be a man.
And step up.
And you know, and
Absolutely.
sometimes
Yeah.
mothers can interfere with that.
That's
Right.
true.
I think sometimes mothers can just interfere with a
Altogether.
lot of stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that all of us is on this path, and sometimes mothers just kind of jump in because we want to direct the path. But no, your
Yeah.
child got to go through some
Yes,
things to
they
figure out some
do.
things. Like, I
That's
want to
true.
kind of direct my daughter's path. Like, no,
Yeah.
I see this happening. I can see it happening
Right.
before I'm screaming out the
Right.
I can see it
Yeah.
happen. But no,
Yeah.
I gotta keep telling myself, no, she gotta go through it
Yeah.
because that's the plan that God has for
That's
her.
it.
And if
That's how
I
you
wouldn't have gone
learn.
through all the stuff I've gone through, I
You
would
wouldn't.
not be sitting here today
Absolutely.
with a platform
Absolutely.
such as this.
Absolutely.
I had to go through some
That's
things.
right.
But
That's
as
right.
mothers, we want to just protect them, and
That's
we want to
true.
just catch them. Like, no, don't do it. We
Right.
can see.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm
we can
telling
see
You
it.
can talk to you blue in the face.
That's
And then
right.
I'll sit there, and what I learned even with my son is he was coming out of high school and dating, and he'll come to me with issues, whatever, and I'll give him examples, real examples of things that I've gone through.
Right.
Just to give him,
Give
a
him,
realistic
right.
picture.
Yeah.
Not that I'm just giving you advice,
They don't
but I'm
wanna
telling
hear
you,
it.
I've
They don't
gone
want to
through
hear it.
this.
They don't want to
I've gone
hear
through
it.
this.
They
They don't
still
wanna
gonna
hear it.
do it.
Right.
They don't
They
want to hear
still
it.
do
They
it.
gonna-
I'm like,
oh,
okay,
they
you
saying,
gonna
oh,
have
my
to-
mother talking again.
Right. Right.
They
Right.
still gonna do it.
We only
Still
have a
gonna do
few
it.
minutes, and I hate this because
I'm enjoying myself.
Hang on, but so we got so Dolores says that 10 children in her family,
Wow.
and all are different.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can we talk about mothers who treat sons like husbands?
Ooh, that's
That
another
was sort
story.
of-
I'm here to tell you, Diamond, that's the truth. They need a little companionship, mothers, when you start making your husband, your son, your
Yeah,
husband.
that's the
But
problem.
oh my
Wow.
goodness, that's a problem. But now
Wow.
we almost out of time. And then
Right.
Jackie did ask a very a good question. And you know what? And it's a good topic, Jackie, because I'm glad you asked this. What are the steps to forgive? I'm not sure how to
Yeah,
forgive.
that's the
Wow.
whole top.
That's a
the
whole
show.
topic.
That's a show by
That's a show by
itself.
itself.
Yeah, yeah,
Learning to forgive.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That'll be a topic on
Yeah.
our show.
Yeah.
Learning how to forgive, because I
Yeah.
think we all
Oh, that's
struggle with
so
that
important.
in so
Yeah,
many
that's-
ways.
That's
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And,
Everybody has
Yeah.
dealt with
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she said overprotecting is worse. Sometimes overprotecting is worse.
That's it.
And Jackie says overprotected by her grandmother who raised me. She loved that. Overprotecting just makes the child want to go and be sneaky. That's so true. Me and Diamond talk about that all the time. That when you overprotect
Yeah, you do. When you don't allow them to
Right,
do
right,
things,
right, right.
they will.
Yeah,
Right. That's
overprotecting gives a false sense of reality.
Yeah,
That's
yes.
so true. I see Wayne Prince.
That's
I love
true.
Wayne. Kevin is on the line. Kevin is a part of our Chattitudes
Oh, yeah,
song.
that's
That's
right,
the reason we
Kevin.
got our Chattitudes song. So
Chattitudes,
Kevin, he
Chattitudes.
probably just popped in for a minute, but I'm glad that he sort of popped in. We excited to have Kevin there. Jackie, that's a whole show by itself.
Right.
Forgiveness.
Right. Yeah.
This is motherhood. It's a wonderful topic.
yes,
it's
it
a wonderful.
is.
It's
It is.
a
big
self-sacrificing
Yes,
thing.
it is.
And before we just go to break, I want to say this. You have anything else to say? I try to be respectful. 'Cause I like to talk.
No, I'm just saying that thank God that I had a village
Amen.
to, keep me lifted up, keep me standing straight, that I didn't fall. And I just appreciate my village. And you know who you are. And I love you dearly. You know, you don't have to be by blood.
Absolutely.
But you were there. And you helped me get to who I am today. And I love
that's a
each and
blessing.
every.
That's a blessing.
Yes.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
We'll put
Yep.
people in our
Awesome.
lives.
That's
That's what
it.
I'm saying. We'll
That's
put them
it.
in our lives.
Yes, indeedy.
I know Shawn coming back with a victory viewpoint. You have anything before we go to?
No, I'll give,
She'll give her closing.
yeah.
I want to say this. I just want to, I was reading this story and I actually speak on a prayer line on Sunday mornings. And one of the stories that I gave the other day was I talked about this mother who was going blind. And I talked about this mother who was going blind. The mother was going blind, and the son was taking care of her. And he said, "Mom, don't you worry. I know you're going to lose your eyesight, but I'm going to find the best doctor in the world, and I'm going to take you to the best doctor in the world." And so he said, "Okay, that's great, best doctor in the U.S." And then he said, "But what if that?" The mother said, "Well, what if that doesn't work?" And he said, "Well, what I'm gonna do, Mom? I'm gonna take you to the best doctor across the globe because that's how much I love you." And the mother said, "Oh, you're so sweet, son. That's a great thing." And then she said, "Well, what if that doesn't work?" She said, "Mom, don't you worry about anything because I'm gonna take you in my house and I'm gonna love on you and I'm gonna just walk with you. I'm gonna talk with you. You don't have to worry about a thing." And you're such a sweet son. Thank you so much for that, son. I appreciate that. And then a little time went past and he asked the mother. He said, "But if that happened to me, what would you do?" And the mother, without hesitation, says, "I would have just given you my eyes."
Wow.
It is the self-sacrifice of a mother.
Wow.
Mothers sacrifice for you
Yeah.
when they don't even care for themselves.
Yeah.
I would
That's
give
true.
my child lost the arm. I would
Yes.
give my child an arm.
It comes
And
natural.
the same thing
Yes.
Yeah.
for my mother. My
Yeah.
mother sacrificed so that I could have.
That's it.
You understand
That's
what
it.
you understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? What I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell you is, you
Yeah.
think my mom live in an apartment? My mother live in an apartment. She is enjoying her life, but you know what she
Right.
did? She sacrificed. She wanted to live in an apartment so I could have a house.
There you
Wow.
go.
You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
Yes.
the sacrifice
Vice.
and the love of a mother. So we're going to come back in a few
Yeah.
minutes with our
Yeah.
victory viewpoints. We're
Wow.
going to go to commercial break. I want you to come
Yeah.
right back with us. We're going to talk about the show next
Wow.
week. We already got it set up for
Wow.
you guys. And we're going to come back with our final thoughts.
Thank you.
And so,
Be
thank
right
you so
back.
much. So we're going to do our commercial right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so,
Be
thank
right
you so
back.
much. So we're going to do our commercial right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so,
Be right
thank you so
back.
much. So we're going to do our commercial right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so,
Be right back.
so we're going to do our commercial right now.
Hey, Chuck. Talk to me, Pastor Mitchell. I don't know about you, but I've had all kinds of friends in my life. I think I've been right down that road with you. Yeah, I had some so-called friends. Yes. When trouble came, they went the other way. Tell me about it. But one thing I'm glad about, that ain't a friend like the lonely Jesus. No. Well, can't nobody come on. You be like Jesus. Can't nobody.
Hello, welcome back. This is our victory
Yes.
viewpoint time. Shawn will close us out. Now
Yes.
talk about our show next week.
Yeah, so our victory viewpoints. Let me put my glasses on. Okay, so we are instructed, the Bible instructs us to love and honor our mothers. And some of us are blessed with wonderful mothers with great relationships. And so that reminds me of Proverbs 31:26, which says, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. And it's from the New King James Version. But then there are also mothers and daughters or children who have strained relationships. And they don't have the great relationship like the other ones. But God reminds us in Psalm 27:10, when my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take care of me. God is there with you in every season and will be a mother to the motherless. So I just want to encourage everyone to just, at the end of the day, just show love, unconditional love, extend grace and mercy to each other, children and parents alike, as the Father does towards us.
All right, amen. And I'm just going to leave you with this. Next week's show, you got to tune in because so many of us are not leaving a legacy for our kids. And we have a insurance specialist. We have an estate specialist who's going to talk to us about how we leave a legacy for our children and how we leave a legacy for our family. And so, guys, this is just my own personal thing. I'm throwing this in. This ain't a part of her commercial. But I'm tired of the GoFundMe's because we don't have life insurance policies.
We got to get life insurance.
We got to get some policies, and we got a person here that's gonna give us some policies next week. So please tune in. We have to be ready because guess what? All of our days are numbered, and we don't know when that day is gonna come. So tune in next week to get the information that we need. This show is all about giving the information and uplifting one another. So come back next week, and we're gonna talk about how to leave a legacy.
Yes.
All right. Amen. Thank you
it.
so much
Thank
for tuning
you.
in. We enjoyed you guys. Oh my goodness.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Don't go
all right.
destroying anything, but be safe. Wear your mask.
Right. Right. Right.
Listen up, check us out. He's the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Shawn have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair. Special guests will be there.